So, hey there, good evening, welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show. A show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. I apologize for the glare, we're just trying to fix it a bit so you don't get so much of it, and move my chair at the same time. It's a late afternoon. Even though the sun doesn't come in this window, there seems to be a lot of glare off of my stuff. So anyways, so we're here on our Wednesday night favorites, one of the shows that I kind of love doing this show quite a bit because I get to think about a lot of different things. So today we're doing a top 25 favorite bands with lyrics. I don't know how you want to say this. What did I write down for it? Let's see, maybe that'll help. I didn't write anything. Okay, so basically this is my top 25 favorite lyrics from different bands. Band lyrics or bands with good lyrics or however you want to say it. And I've decided to do it into two kind of structures here. I'm going to do top 20 of my favorite lyrics from various bands from my original growing up list or my classic list if you want, and then I'm going to do 5 of the new groups that I've been listening to. So I guess the best way to call this is my top 25 favorite band with good lyrics. I don't know how else you would say it. 20 from my classical groups, the ones that I've been listening to my whole life, and then 5 from the new groups I discovered over the last year. Because the new ones wouldn't really make the top 25, but I wanted to give them some attention as well. I did this before with my top 25 favorite progressive rock bands, in which I broke it into 15 and 10. So yeah, there goes my phone. It doesn't buzz all day until I sit down here. Okay, so anyways, that's what I have. So we're gonna do this pretty much in reverse order, like we always do. Go from the least from your least favorite to your most favorite. I have to say though, with lyrics, I was looking at this list. So other than the top 3, or top 4, maybe top 5. So other than the top 5, any of the 6 through 20, they could rotate. It's just a matter of what I feel like listening to, right? So they all could rotate around quite a bit. As the top 5 for the newer bands, they're pretty much rotatable too as well. And then I'm throwing in some honorable mentions, which I'll do at the end. So we're going to start with new bands first, since it's there's only 5 of them, and we'll see how this goes. So my first number 5 will be this group, Men at Work. I really like their lyrics. They're kind of different than what you usually get, and I think it's because of the country they come from. They have a different way of speaking. There's some words they use and some references that they use that we don't have here, so you get kind of a different kind of a feel for the music. The other thing too is some of the references they go over my head. I don't really know what they're referring to, but I know that it's because they grew up in a certain atmosphere with a certain way, and they've come to say things in a different way. I think their lyrics are pretty good. They usually are quite humorous in a lot of cases, and I love the guy's voice, so it really makes the lyrics stand out. So there you go, number 5 for my favorite 5 new band lyrics, and so, or recently discovered bands is probably the better way to put it. Next up, we have the Tea Party. I've enjoyed listening to their lyrics. I'm not as familiar with their lyrics as I was with some of the classic bands, but I'm starting to like their lyrics quite a bit. And that goes for this group. Number 3, King Crimson. Some excellent lyrics, some kind of eerie stuff to their music, and I like the lyrics. They fit in very well with King Crimson. Number 4, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I'm not a huge Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but I do like some of the lyrics that they put out. Lucky Man, that's a really good lyrical written song. There's a few others too. I'm not as familiar again with Emerson, Lake and Palmer as I probably would be once I get into them a bit more, but I do like what I hear when I listen to the lyrics. Steely Dan, this album just came off my playlist not too long ago, but I like some of the lyrics on this album, even like Ricky, Don't Lose My Number, of course, Berrytown. Any major dude will tell you, it's, their lyrics are kind of hilarious, but at the same time, you know exactly what they're getting at. That's the part I like. It's because they say it in a little bit different of a way, but you get the message just the same. So there you are for my 5 new ones. I didn't say as much about them because I don't know them as well. It takes a while for me to get really motivated to listen to the lyrics of newer bands. So now we're going to move on to the top 20 of the older bands. Who do I like the most lyric-wise, and who do I like the least? Well, least for the list anyway. So I put Blue Oyster Cult on here. They have some quirky lyrics, especially on their first couple of albums. Secret Treaties and their debut album. Not Secret Treaties. Mystery Mutations, I think that's what it's called. Some interesting stuff on there. I also like Secret Treaties. It's got some real quirky lyrics on it as well. I like the song Mummy. Kind of hilarious. So, and of course, this album that I'm holding by Blue Oyster Cult was the only one that I've had for any length of time. I've had this almost 40 years. I like. You see me now, the veteran of 1,000 psychic wars. We've been living on the edge so long, with the gates of limbo roam. And we're young enough to look at, but far too old to see. All the stars are on the inside. It's got some pretty cool lyrics on this album too, for them. Next up was a band I added. I took somebody out and put them in, because I just figured, just get too many cool songs. Led Zeppelin, lots of stuff on lots of different albums. I chose Led Zeppelin 2 off of the rack because the song that I enjoy singing to is Ramble On. And of course the Lemon Song. The way you squeeze my lemons, make the juice run down my leg. Yeah, just some pretty cool lyrics by these guys. They're excellent. I like that song, Tangerine, Tangerine, living reflection of a dream. It's just he's a pretty decent writer, Robert Plant. More credit to him than I've ever given to him. Mostly because the band is so big and the music is so great that people forget that the lyrics are also wonderful as well. Okay, so we get to Paul Simon, a guy I like quite a bit. His lyrics are a little bit quirky as well. These are the days of miracle and wonder. This is the long distance call. The way the camera follows us in slow-mo. The way we look to us all, oh yeah. The way we look to a distant constellation that is dying in the corner of the sky. These are the days of miracles and wonder, and don't cry, baby. Don't cry, no, don't cry. Some pretty cool stuff on this album. He's got some The Boy in the Bubble and the Baby with a Babbling Heart. Only he could write stuff like that, right? Okay, so we'll move on to number 17, which is this group, Deep Purple. Child in Time has got to be one of the great lyrical songs of all time. I just like the way their music is kind of hits home, but at the same time is kind of otherworldly. I don't know if that makes any sense. Hard to explain. I think it's because of the style of their music changes constantly. So anyways, Deep Purple would be my number 17 for lyrics. Okay, so number 16 is one of my favorite bands, the Western Boys, Bachman Turner Overdrive. This album has probably my favorite lyrical song by them, Rock is My Life, This is My Song. We just gotta keep on playing music. We just gotta keep on keeping on. We're only as good as our last record. And I know that someday we'll be gone, gone. When we come into a new time, everybody's there. When we play our music, candles light the air. I like their lyrics because they're so down to earth, and at the same time I feel a real Canadian connection with them. They feel very Canadian, BTO, and that part I like. And I like the little stories they tell about different things. So Bachman Turner Overdrive coming in at 16. Number 15 is this group, Supertramp, Breakfast in America. Also stuff from Even in the Quietest Moment. All their albums, they have these little stories. Some of them are sad, some of them are happy, some of them are interesting to listen to. What would you say if they call me a radical? They like to do the rhyming part too, which is nice. It sounds good if you get it right. You're just making a word up. Like there's a few groups that like to make words up that don't exist just so they rhyme with something. Okay, the next group up is Judas Priest, coming in at number 14. No, you think your private lives think nothing of the kind. There is no true escape, I'm watching all the time. I'm made of muscle, my circus flea. I am perpetual, I keep the country clean. Yeah, fairly sophisticated for a heavy metal band. And I like his lyrics, they really are biting. Judas Priest, number 14. Number 13, one of my favorite bands when I was younger, Triumph. This album I love. I probably know all the lyrics on this album off by heart. But, welcome to the kingdom, the land of funk and soul. A world of a real life fantasy where truths are seldom told. Try hard to remember all that glitters is not gold. You can pay the proverb, but you cannot buy his soul. Yeah, cool. They've got a lot of pretty cool lyrics telling stories. Like them a lot. Number 13, Triumph. Number 12. Yep, these guys. Now some people say, what? But you know what? I love Bon Scott, and that guy could write a tune. And he knew how to use metaphors, and he knew how to tell a story. Like The Jack is a classic, right? Like he tells the story of a prostitute who's working on a guy, and he uses it through seeing it through playing a deck with a deck of cards and playing cards, and he uses the analogy so well. Anyway, he does this on a lot of their songs, not just that one. That's just the most obvious one to me. But I mean, every song you look at here, he tells his little stories about stuff going on, and they're so down to earth stuff. It's not some high and mighty shit, right? But sad that Bon Scott's gone, but the music he wrote was fantastic. That's what was that? That was number 12. Okay, so number 11 is this guy, James Marshall Hendrix. Spanish Castle Magic. Takes, a half day by dragon flight just to get there. It's all in your mind. Spanish Castle Magic, Spanish Castle Magic, Yeah, cool. And Little Miss Lover, so cool. Like they're simple music, but it hit home as being like happening right now. So So James Marshall Hendricks. Now we move on to Yes. I know some of you are thinking this would have been higher, but I fooled you. I like Yes's lyrics, but a lot of it is kind of mystical and not. I don't even know if it's real. It just sounds good, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. There are songs like that with Yes. I chose this album just because it was one I was listening to most recently. Like on the silent wings of freedom, we offer ourselves the balance for the balancing of the sun. Does that really even mean anything? Or I've seen all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but they got some interesting stuff. Like On the Silent Wings of Freedom is one of the most well-written songs I've ever listened to. Such a good tune. Anyways, that's Yes. Coming in at number 10. Number 11. Number 9 is this guy, Neil Young. I get a little bit closer, hear what I have to say. That's from the Harvest Moon album. And you got things like the cool stories he tells about people who he's known and they're dying. He tells a little story like, needle and the damage done, the little part of it in everyone. But the junkie setting like a setting sun. I tell you this because I love the man. I sing this song because I love the man. I know some of you don't understand. What I like about Neil Young is he talks about very folky and down-to-earth stuff, but he explains it in a way that makes you listen. I listen to his lyrics probably as much as anybody that I listen to. Okay, Styx. I chose Pieces of 8 because it has my favorite song, Queen of Spades. Day into night, she's with me. How sweet is a warm embrace, safe in the scent of jasmine, so safe in the golden leaf. Yeah, really well written. All three of them write pretty good. I know JY likes to write those controversial stuff, but I like his stuff too. So now we're going on to The Who. The Who are coming in at number 7. Just about all their old stuff are quirky. The lyrics are kind of funny. Pete Townshend's a master of telling a story using description to get the message across, like he does with, where's my I do not know what I put over there. Okay, so this is the album Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy. It has a lot of those older things on it, like where was I here? The Seeker. Yep. You don't get what you're after till the day is done. And Sarah. Oh, sorry. I lost train of thought there. Just like little things like Substitute. Just little quirky stories that they tell. I'm a Boy is another quirky kind of story. Happy Jack. That's kind of a quirky story as well. Yeah, they do a lot of that quirky story, which gets your attention, and then the music is really good with it as well. So, The Who coming in at number 7, right? Yep, I believe. Where did I write them? There they are. So number 6, Iron Maiden, and this particular album has a lot of really good lyrics on it. Just some real fantastic stuff. Most of their stuff tells stories, and if you read or you heard them, they'll explain to you why there's that way. Like this one. I don't know. The Clairvoyant. Okay, so it's feel the sweet break on my brow. It is me, or it is the shadow that are dancing on the walls. Is this a dream, or is it now? Is this the voice, vision of morality I see before my eyes? I wonder why, I wonder how, that it seems that the power's getting stronger every day. I feel a strength and inner fire, but I'm scared I won't be able to control anymore. You know, those are just some of the lyrics from Iron Maiden. Well written music. I think one of the best written music of rock bands from that time period. If I can get it open, that would be great. I don't want to lose the disc. Here it is. The thing with these, if you don't put them back in right away, you forget where they are, and the next thing you don't have them anymore. So that's Iron Maiden coming in at number 6. So the top 5, I did a couple of albums for each of them because they're my favorite bands. So we're going to start out with Genesis, and I chose 2 albums to talk about, Trespass and Wind in the Wuthering, which is kind of funny. This is kind of the beginning of their prog, and this is kind of the end of their prog. So, you know, they have the song like The Knife. Tell me, how does it go? Tell me that I'm a hero. Tell me the things that I wanted to be. Now, we stand up and fight, for we know we are right. So we must strike at the lies that have spread like disease through our minds. Yeah, they hit home with that. The song is great, but the lyrics are pretty good too. This album recently got transferred to the front though, so I'm not sure why it's over here. This album, it was my first or my second Genesis album. I never really got to listen to it much because people kept interrupting all the time. I've only gotten to know it better in the last few years. All in a Mouse's Night and Blood on the Rooftops are 2 of my favorites. Let's see if I can find one of them. Blood on the Rooftop. Blood on the Rooftops. That's with Steve Hackett. Sorry, I kind of nodded there for a second. I don't know where that came from. Anyways, yeah. You know, this album is this 11th Earl of Mar. Couldn't get them very far. Daddy, oh daddy, you promised. Little mini stories. And yeah, this album has a lot of that. I like All in a Mouse's Night. There I stood with my back to the wall. Then comes this monster mouse, he's 10 feet tall, with teeth and claws to match. It only took one blow. Yeah, love it. So there you have it. Genesis is number 5. Sorry, I'm trying to get this back in so I don't lose it. Number 5 on the hit parade. So number 4, another band from my group of 8, and it's actually the solo artist, Peter Gabriel. It's just one great track and one great lyrical masterpiece after another on this album. That's why I chose it. And the other, it's not just this one. The other one that I was going to use, which I left on the playlist, I didn't want to disturb it, was Peter Gabriel 3, which has a lot of really good stuff. Okay, all songs. Okay. Kiss of Life. Yeah, they did Kiss of Life, and that song. Can't find it. Okay. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Oh, you know, like, here's one of my favorite songs. Like, I Have the Touch. The time I like best is rush hour, 'cause I like to rush the pushing of the people. I like it oh so much. Such a massive motion, do not know where it goes. I move with the movement, and I have the touch. Sorry, I drifted again. Bit of a tiring day today. Anyways, great lyrics from Peter Gabriel, and there's even more on Peter Gabriel 3, like Games Without Frontiers, one of the best written songs I've ever heard. Hans plays with Dottie, Dottie plays with Jane, Jane plays with Willie, Willie is happy again, Suki plays with Leo, Sasha plays with Britt, Adolf builds a bonfire, and Rudolph plays with it. Yeah, he put some thought into his music, that's certain, for certain. Okay, so now we're going to get into the last three groups. These groups are pretty much in a class by themselves, I think. One of them, this group, Black Sabbath. You know, for a heavy metal band, they are by far the best written lyrics. I mean, I know Geezer probably wrote most of this stuff, but, you know, Ozzy's claiming some of it too, so I'm not really sure. But one of my favorite songs is on this, what is it? Solitude. You know, like, my name means nothing, my fortune is less. My future is shrouded in dark wilderness. Sunshine is far away, clouds linger on. Please, everything I possess, now they are gone. And then he goes, they are gone. You know, oh, where can I go and what can I do? Nothing can please me, only thoughts are of you. You just laughed when I begged you to stay. I've not stopped crying since you went away. You went away. Yeah, some awesome stuff there. You know, and they do the same on most of their albums are pretty much like that. There's some really interesting stuff on this one, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I'm going to read you some from Spiral Architect. If the lyrics are here, and they're not. Damn, I thought it was. Anyways, the lyrics on this album are among the best. You know, like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, A National Acrobat, Killing Yourself to Live, Looking for Today, and then Spiral Architect. But those three songs, like Looking for Today and Killing Yourself to Live, those ones have good lyrics too, but they're just not as strong as some of the other stuff on the album. So then the next group up, Jethro Tull. This guy has some amazing stuff. Ian Anderson. I've been listening to the stand-up album quite a bit lately with the Fat Man. Don't wanna be a fat man. All the people think I'm just good fun. I'd rather be the thin man. So I'm hoping that I can go on being one. Yeah, some interesting lyrics to say the least. This one has a song that is one of my favoritely written songs, not just by them but in general, and it's I don't see it now. Where did it go? I don't know where it is. You'll have to forgive me while I look for it for a second. Yeah, it's so small, it's really hard to read. Okay, so it's a Summer Day Sands. Yeah, I love the lyrics for this one. Once met a girl with her life in her hands, and we lay together on the summer day sands. I gave her my raincoat and told her, lady be good, and we made truth together where no one else would. Yeah, I get the story. We sat at the sea, caught fire, waited for the flames grew higher. In her eyes, we watched the eagles born, wings clipped, tail feathers shorn. But we saw him rise over humidity sands. Over summer day sands, sorry. Yeah, I love the lyrics on that. I like the song Mother Goose. As I did walk down by country fair, came upon Mother Goose. So I turned her loose. She was screaming, such well written and orchestrated lyrics on almost all the Tull stuff. And I'm pretty sure Ian Anderson writes all of that stuff. So we're going to give him full kudos for that. Sorry, I'm just trying to put this back together here. Not succeeding too well. The album is backwards. There we go. We'll just do this. There we are. I'll put it back later. Okay, so now we're down to number 1. And this won't become as any surprise for anybody. Long been my favorite. They're my favorite musicians. They're my favorite lyricists. I like all the guys in the band. I relate to all of them in some way or another. I mean, Alex is kind of the comedian. I relate to that. Geddy Lee likes baseball. I relate very big to that. Neil Peart, he is a reader, writer. I relate to all that stuff. So this was just a natural for me to come up with Rush. I chose a couple of albums to illustrate their music. I probably don't really need to read them. I probably know them off by heart, but I'll read them anyways. Just a couple of things to show you the master lyricist that this guy was. Natural Science. Like the chorus. Wheels within wheels in a spiral array, a pattern so grand and complex. Time after time we lose sight of the way our causes can't see their effects. Just such well orchestrated and sounds good, and Geddy Lee fitted in nicely with his voice and with the music that they wrote. Like the first lyric, it goes science, or we'll go part 3, Permanent Waves part. It says, science like nature must also be tamed with a view towards its preservation. Given the same state of integrity, it will surely serve us well. Art as expression, not a market campaigns, will still capture our imaginations. Given the same state of integrity, it will surely help us along. The most endangered species, the honest man, will survive annihilation, forming a world state of integrity. Yeah, I love that. Boy, I'm blinking out here a bit today. I was more tired than I even thought I was. I tend to like to do a lot of this stuff earlier in the week, so that I'm not, by the end of the week I'm pretty tired, and it's very hard for me to put it together, if you know what I'm saying. So anyways, that was Permanent Waves. And then I chose this one here. I don't even know if the lyrics are on this. This is Caress of Steel. Many people don't. Yeah, they are, but they're like really, really tiny. Like there's no way I cannot see that. But anyways, there's a song on here called Fountain of Lameth. Most Rush fans would be familiar with it. And I'm just looking for the part that I wanted to say something about. I think it's Bacchus Panacea. There's a part in Panacea that is so well written, and I just can't see it. But I like the thing where it goes, Panacea, liquid grace, I can't resist your fragile face. And then I just can't remember it right now. I just think I'm too tired. But at any rate, I love Rush's lyrics. From the stories from 2112 all the way up to Snakes and Arrows and beyond. They write a lot of stuff. And I know originally he wrote a lot of sci-fi and a lot of fantasy and a lot of about novels and stuff like that, and then he eventually got into more contemporary stuff about everyday problems and stuff like that, and And then he had one of the albums, Vapor Trails. He pretty much wrote about his feelings about, having lost his wife and daughter. A tragedy, no doubt, and he expressed it very well on paper. So there you have it. So those are my top 20 bands with great lyrics, and then my next 5 with newer bands with great lyrics. And I hope you will enjoy this episode as much as I did making it. I just wish I hadn't been so tired today, but sometimes you can't always have what you want, right? Another great lyric by the Rolling Stones, who I'm going to mention now. So anyways, I'll just do them from top to bottom again. Rush, number 1. Jethro Tull, number 2. Black Sabbath, number 3. Peter Gabriel, number 4. Genesis, number 5. Iron Maiden, number 6. The Who, number 7. Styx, number 8. Neil Young, number 9. Yes, number 10. Jimi Hendrix, number 11. AC/DC, number 12. Triumph, number 13. Judas Priest, number 14. Supertramp, number 15. Bachman Turner Overdrive, number 16. Deep Purple, number 17. Paul Simon, number 18. Led Zeppelin, number 19. And Blue Oyster Cult, number 20. And then for the new ones, it was Steely Dan, number 1. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, number 2. King Crimson, number 3. Tea Party, number 4. And Men at Work, number 5. Now, for some of my honorable mentions, some of these bands could have made it just as easily. I think the bottom probably 5 or 6 on the list could have been replaced by most of these bands. Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know who wrote the lyrics. Some say it was Ozzy, sometimes it was Geezer. But whoever wrote them did a hell of a job, especially on those first couple of albums. Pink Floyd, of course, great lyrical band, but I don't tend to think of Pink Floyd lyrically as much. I'm more into their music than I am into their lyrics. Although, having said that, I really enjoy some of the stuff like Time and Welcome to the Machine and that kind of stuff. The Beatles, of course, can't go wrong having a couple guys like Lennon and McCartney writing your stuff, and some of their stuff is really catchy and the lyrics really help it. Other stuff is more psychedelic. You really got to listen to it quite a bit to get it, but still a great lyrical band. The Kinks have some interesting stories to tell, and the way Ray Davies sings his lyrics is kind of unique as well. Nectar, of course, I've only just begun with them, so I don't really know as much about their music lyrically yet. Everly Brothers, I always loved their lyrics. Very simple, kind of reminds me of my childhood and the 50s, right? Ronnie James Dio, of course, great fantasy writer. Pretenders, I like Chrissie Hynde's way of putting things. Of course, Gentle Giant, but I'm more into their music too, not as much into their lyrics. And then Amorphous Androgynous, who is coming on a bit. I'm starting to listen to their music more and to the lyrics that they wrote with them as well. And there's lots of other bands that could be mentioned here. The Stones, I already said. Lots of other bands can be put here. But for today and for today only, those are my top 20 and top 5. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell me what you like. What lyrics do you like? Who's the lyrics? The funny thing is that these lyrical bands don't quite indicate my favorite bands, but a lot of my favorite bands have good lyrics, and I think that was important to me, so that's probably why it's like that. So anyways, I hope you liked it. Please like, subscribe, it's much appreciated, and we will be seeing you very soon on Friday night for the Friday Night Live video. I hope that you enjoy your night and have a good one. From Prog Monster, goodbye.